Welcome back, everybody. Today we're going to talk about extracurriculars that you should do as a medical student. Now, the process of building up a competitive application for residency is very similar to pre-med and getting into medical school. Depending on the specialty you want to pursue and its competitiveness, you're going to have to do more or less things outside of school to be competitive. If you're early in the game, we recommend building the most competitive application you can, because it's better to have a competitive application and decide on a less competitive specialty later than doing the opposite. You have to do as much as you can while being careful not to burn out or spread yourself too thin. So here's some things that you want to make sure that you cover. Now, the first thing is leadership. Out of hundreds of medical students who are smart, hardworking, and competitive, you have to separate yourself once again. One way to do this is to participate in a leadership role. Similar to pre-med, you don't want a grocery list of things on your application. Not that you're going to have time for it anyways. You want a few high-quality pursuits that show specific characteristics. As a resident, obviously you're going to have to take on a leadership role and be self-sufficient as much as possible. So in order to show a good foundation for this, you want to take on a leadership role in medical school. This can involve starting your own club, joining a club in the first year, and then becoming an executive in the second year, starting something outside of medicine, or something in a similar vein. If you know what specialty you want to pursue, one way to do this is to join and ascend the interest group related to that specialty or create your own. This is going to allow you to make connections with residents and higher ups in the specialty as you organize events and communicate with them. But feel free to do anything that interests you that also shows leadership. Now, the second thing is research. If you know what specialty you want to pursue, doing research related to it is a great addition to your application. The more competitive the specialty, the more of an expectation this is. Quality is always better than quantity, but if you want to do something very competitive like plastics or neurosurgery or orthopedics, you want to have both. One way to do this is you can shadow residents and attendings in the specialty you want and ask the ones that you get along with if they're willing to have you on for a research project, or you can cold email faculty with the professional CV and showing interest in their research that they've published. If you don't know what you want to pursue, it's still a good idea to have some general research to show commitment and contribution to the medical or scientific field. The next thing is clinical work or shadowing. You also want to show that you've done some clinical work or exploration of the medical field. Depending on your finances, this can include summer medical trips to different countries if you want. Certainly don't have to do that. I didn't do that. You can start or participate in student-run clinics or even organizing a club where you can teach pre-meds or high school students medical skills. The bare minimum can be shadowing physicians and residents in different specialties. This won't necessarily be a standout activity, but it can help you to build some connections and open doors to potential other opportunities. If you know what specialty you want to do, you can ask residents in that specialty if there's any extracurriculars that they recommend or any volunteering opportunities related to that specific field. Now, real quick guys, if you guys get value from these podcasts and YouTube videos, please remember to like, share, and leave a comment. It helps us to reach more people and help more pre-meds and medical students, and we really appreciate it. Now, the last thing, but definitely not least, is hobbies and things not related to medicine. For your personal health and even for your application, it's vital to have interests outside of medical school. I love cycling, intramural sports, and running this YouTube channel / podcast. Not only does this give me a much needed break from studying, it also makes me more balanced and social. And this is going to show when you work with people on your sub-Is or as a clerk where you're better able to communicate with them. How many non-medicine things you can do will depend on how efficient you are with your time and how many of the above three you're doing. You want to try your best to study efficiently and make time for as much non-school related things as you can. This keeps you happy, keeps you enjoying the process, and prevents burnout. It's important to do things outside of medical school classes to build a strong residency application, but more importantly for your own mental health. This is a very long journey and there is no end point where you won't be thinking about medicine, so it's important to take that downtime for yourself. Make sure to cover all these bases, but be careful not to spread yourself too thin or burn out, so you really have to gauge that depending on how you're feeling. Other than that, just work hard, treat people right, and you should be able to get the residency that you want. Hopefully this helped you guys out. As always, feel free to reach out to us and let us know what you want to hear about next.